Yo, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Baraka Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alatah Bashim Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. This is the I.S.U.P.K. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth about the Bible. And that truth is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are true Jews, the true Hebrew Israelites from the Bible. And that God commanded you to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And the only way that you're going to get out of your condition that we is here in America is by coming back to the Lord, serving the Lord, following these law, statutes, commandments, you know what I'm saying, getting down with the I.S.U.P.K. because we're the only the true priests and prophets of the Lord, and we're going to raise this nation up, you know what I'm saying, one brother, one sister at a time, starting, you know what I'm saying, we're going to hit all the tribes, you know what I'm saying. Commander Junior Hunter already gave the order for all camps to come together, you know what I mean. All the brothers need to come. This is the venue right here. You want the venue to raise up a nation, for your people to come together and become strong. It's the venue, the I.S.U.P.K. We the organization, we the brothers that's gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? We're growing every day. We picking up steam every day. More and more brothers is waking up to this truth. More and more sisters waking up to this truth. We need all y'all to get on in here. You know what I'm saying? Change your life. Pay your ties to this organization. You know what I mean? And we're gonna grow. We're gonna build each other up. We're gonna build this nation up. We're gonna change these ghettos. We're gonna change these reservations. We're gonna build this nation. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody else gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And big up to all the brothers and all the soldiers in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? I seen some crazy stuff on Facebook this week. We've been battling these devils all week. It's crazy how mad some of y'all y'all brothers is hardcore out there. Y'all been battling these devils out there. These devils done lost their mind on Facebook. They done went live. They done got all their friends. They trying to rally the troops to see what we about. They did research on us. Y'all done got these devils mad as hell out here on Facebook and in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So big up to all the brothers, you know what I mean, who put their life on the line each week, who make such a great sacrifice for a cause that we believe in, a cause that Yahweh Shai set out, you know what I mean, to show us how it's done. And we going out and doing it each week, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, in class, you know, in the physical class or online class like I'm doing now, or on those street corners, you know what I mean, putting it all out there. And that's a huge sacrifice, you know what I mean. And for all the haters out there, you know what I mean, like we actually got boots on the ground. We actually got boots on the ground. We actually got brothers teaching this truth, you know what I mean, going out, talking to people, counseling people, you know what I mean. And I ain't even talking about, you know what I mean, what we doing in the prisons or what we doing, you know what I mean, feeding people, what, you know what I'm saying, what the leadership in this organization is doing as far as, you know what I mean, paying people's bills and helping people. And I'm just talking specifically about, you know what I'm saying, serving the Lord in regards to going out and giving his word to the people. You know what I mean? This organization is awesome. You got something bad to say about this organization, you can drop dead. You know what I'm saying? These brothers right here, they make a huge sacrifice. And I can't leave out the sisters either. The sisters is making, you know what I mean, huge sacrifices to support these men and help raise up the nation. You know what I'm saying? But the brothers, they out there on the front lines, you know what I'm saying? So again, big up to all the brothers, you know what I mean, it's out there on the front line, helping build up, raise up this nation. You understand? And again, I just big shout out, man, because these devils done went crazy this week. Yeah, I done pissed the devils off, man. They didn't lost their mind out here. You know what I mean, online, on Facebook. I done seen all kind of stuff this week. And it just give you true insight as to, you know what I'm saying, who your average white American, what he actually thinks. Give them the opportunity. And they'll tell you how they actually feel about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They're going to let you know. They're going to let you know how they truly feel about you. It's easy as putting something on Facebook and saying how you really feel about America. Like, one more thing before I get started. America, the white Americans are so jaded in the sense that they think because you have a few crumbs here in America, you are supposed to be satisfied and happy, and that you don't say nothing. You go do your slave, you know what I mean, and you be happy. It don't matter about all the atrocities that have happened to you in the past. You just go and be a good slave and don't say nothing, and don't ever speak out against what white people do. We made this country, and we the rulers of this country, and don't ever say nothing about us. That's how white people actually feel. Your average American. And like, you should know that by now. You should know that by now. Half the people in this country voted for Donald Trump, meaning they share that same philosophy. They don't care how dumb he was. Everybody could look at Donald Trump and listen to the things he's saying. No, he's dumb as hell. Like, you know, he didn't have any political experience. Never even had a city council job. You understand? This man, his entire campaign was based on racism. And that's half the people in the country voted for this man. So like, for all y'all out there, and I understand, you know what I'm saying, you're so ingrained in America, you're so ingrained in society and how you live day to day. Come on into the school. We're gonna show you. You know what? Sometimes it's tough to go cold turkey. You can't go cold turkey on the white man. I understand. Come on to the I.S.U.P.K. We're gonna wean you off of them. You understand? We're gonna treat you just like a drug addict. We're gonna wean you off the so-called white man and his society and all the lust. You know what I'm saying? You got white friends, you going out, just slowly start saying, no, you know, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Get some counsel from one of these brothers in the cities nearest you. Go on the website, ISUPK.com. Get on the website, find the brothers nearest you. You know what I mean? They're gonna help you wean yourself away from these white people. You understand? If you can't go cold turkey, you like love the white man so much and you so down with society, we're gonna show you how to do it. You slowly start backing off. Whereas you used to go when you at work or slaving, you used to go to lunch with these white people. Now you start backing off. You go down to, you know what I'm saying, one day a week. And then pretty soon you just stop going to lunch with them at all. You used to hang out after work and go get drinks with them. Pretty soon you go down to, you know what I'm saying, once a month, you may go get a drink with them. And then after that, you just stop. If that's how you got to do it, you got to do it. But you separate yourself from this white man because he got a day coming and you don't want to be anywhere near him. You can see terror is happening all around the world. It's getting terrible and it's going to get worse. It's biblical prophecy that it's going to get worse. You understand? It's biblical prophecy that it's going to get worse. And that terror is coming to the white man. And why is the terror coming to the white man? It's because all the evil he has sown in this earth. You understand? All the evil. Anyway, I done went on long enough. Let's get into the topic for today. You understand? Again, this is the Cincinnati class. And I've been saying it, you know what I'm saying, ever since I started making these videos. Like, if you in Ohio, you around that Cincinnati area, you know what I'm saying, reach out to go ahead and call the Indianapolis number from now and reach out. And what I want to do is come out there and start having live classes, you know what I mean? But I can't just come out there just because, you know, and hold a class with nobody showing up. Like, all the brothers and sisters, y'all out there and y'all on the fence, y'all on the line, y'all not sure, you know what I mean? Go ahead and contact the Indianapolis school for now. And then we'll get coordinate some stuff, and we're gonna have class out there. And pretty soon we're gonna start having camp out there. You know what I mean? And the sooner I get some more brothers and sisters out there interested, the sooner I can make my way out there and start raising up Cincinnati, man. I'm looking forward to it because I know I done seen a few Israelite groups out there. You know what I mean? If it ain't I.S.U.P.K, you know what I'm saying, under Commander General YAHANNA, then it's not of the Lord. You got to understand this. This school has been commissioned to go and, you know what I'm saying, spread the word, you know what I'm saying, of the Lord. And that's how it is. Our organization is the home of the truth. You know what I mean? We started this, you know what I mean? So, again, let's go ahead and get into the topic. Like, so one of the things that I want to talk about tonight was how this Bible has so much Black history in it, you know what I mean? And you read the Bible. Like, you got to read the Bible through the lens of, you know what I mean, it's talking to you. If you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. When I used to read the Bible in the past, I couldn't relate to it. Like, when I was in a Christian church, I couldn't relate to the Bible. I mean, I could relate to it in some aspects, but I'm like, it just went over my head most of the time. Because I was reading it through the lens of a Gentile. I thought that the so-called white man was the Jew. He was the chosen people. And, you know what I'm saying, I was just reading it because I wanted to be a part of spiritual Israel. Ain't no spiritual Israel. Everything, all throughout the scriptures, you see, even Paul said it, his kinsmen according to the flesh. You understand? Like, Israel are are the people, you know what I mean, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's who Israel, nobody else. But I would read the Bible through the lens of a Gentile, you understand, when I was in the Christian church. But now, you know what I'm saying, through the mercy of the Lord, I then came into this school, got into this knowledge, and I read the Bible through the lens of an Israelite. And once you do that, you can see all the parallels between what happened in the past and what's happening here today. Now, I could never do as great a job as Commanding General YAHANNA. He's actually been to Egypt. You know what I mean? I understand multiple times, and he always brings out little bits and pieces about how, you know, the slavery that we went through in Egypt is the same as the slavery that we're going through here in America. He said, you know what I mean? He bring that out all the time. But I happened to be reading and I ran across, I was looking at Exodus, and I'm like, okay, so, you know what I mean? I put out a couple things and I wanted to share them today. So let's get Exodus 1:1. Yeah, this is crazy. You go back and read Exodus. And again, if you've been to Egypt, then you probably able to dig into a little bit more of the history. But it's some stuff right here in plain sight. Like I said, I used to read it when I was a Christian, but you never pick up on this stuff because you don't know that the Bible is talking about you. But now that you read it, you know what I'm saying, you got this knowledge and understanding, and you know the Bible is talking about you. A lot of this stuff don't make sense now. Hey, shalom, Nashah. All right. All right, let's get Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So if you don't know, you know what I mean, if you ain't you know what I mean, studied the Bible, read the Bible, you know, you like a lot of Christians, you kind of look at the Bible here and there, you put it, you know what I'm saying, you pick it up and put it down, you don't really read it. Just a little story, you know what I'm saying. This is basically telling the story about, you know, kind of the origins of the 12 tribes, so to speak, you know what I mean. So obviously you got Jacob and his sons, and these men that were just named would make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And that's and at this point we're in Egypt, right? And so we're gonna keep reading. Verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the lands were filled with them. Here it is. We're in a land that is not our land, you understand? But again, if you don't know the story of Joseph, Joseph was basically sold by his brothers, and he ended up in Egypt as a slave. And basically he rose up in power through the mercy of the Lord. He rose up in power, you understand? And he became second in command in Egypt. And basically Egypt went through a period of great famine. And because of his counsel, Egypt became a great nation because he instructed the Pharaoh basically to store up, you know what I mean, grain and everything and prepare for this great famine that was coming. And Egypt became, you know what I'm saying, basically, essentially a world power because of the knowledge of the Lord that Joseph passed along to Pharaoh. You understand? Like if it wasn't for Joseph, Egypt would have starved. You know what I mean? The world, you know, different parts of the world would have starved out because of the famine that was going on in the land. And so here we find, you know what I mean, the Israelites in Egypt. And the Bible says that they multiplied, you know what I mean? They multiplied so great that they filled the land is what the scripture said. And I look at this as in terms of today, you know what I mean? And the only reason why this ain't an exact parallel is because of the Christian church, you know what I mean? But here we are in a land that's not ours, you know what I mean? Talking about blacks, you could even say that the land that the Native Americans and Hispanics, like this is their land, but really their land is Israel. That's our homeland. You understand? But we're in this land, and the only reason we're not filling the land now, like the Israelites did in the past, is because of the Christian church. And when I say that, it's like they really promote, you know what I mean, it's okay, you know what I mean, to go and kill your baby. You know what I mean? If you thinking about abortion, like you might be on the fence, you know it's wrong. But what they tell you, they say, the Lord will forgive you. You understand? All you got to do is pray and ask for forgiveness and believe in the name of Jesus, and you're going to be forgiven. You understand? And that's contrary to the scriptures. You know what I mean? I had to watch this the radio show with General Haas. He actually broke down what is repentance. You know what I mean? And the Christian church, they don't practice repentance. What they practice is just asking for forgiveness, but they go back and do the exact same sin again. You understand? Time after time. That ain't being repentful. You understand? Like, just because you ask for forgiveness don't mean you're gonna be forgiven. Like, if you're going back and doing the same thing over and over, what you're supposed to do is ask for forgiveness and turn away from that sin. You understand? And that's true repentance right there. And the Christian church don't teach that. When I was reading Exodus, I saw like we could be a mighty people in this land. Like, you look at in times of old, like I just even use my personal family. I know my grandmother had, you know what I'm saying, a dozen kids. You know what I mean? And like you look at the size of the families, even in slavery, they had kids. You know what I mean? You can't be too much poorer than being in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Being a slave, like that's got to be the bottom of the bottom. So when you talk about aborting your baby for financial reasons and, you know what I mean, and trying to be career women and, you know what I mean, and men too, you know what I mean, you telling sisters to go abort them babies, you know what I mean, that ain't the Lord's program. That's murder. You understand? You actually committing murder. That's a sin. You know what I mean? So like, that's the only reason why we not in that exact same parallel as the children of Israel were in Egypt, because we've been, you know what I mean, we've been taught to kill our babies. And I did a little research. I mean, y'all done already heard about her. The school bring it out all the time. Margaret Sanger. If you don't know who this devil is, go look this devil up. And even you can Google specifically, go Google disturbing quotes by Margaret Sanger. Like, she was a outright racist. You understand? Like, she didn't believe that Black people should repopulate. You know what I mean? And it's through her this whole eugenics program started. You know what I mean? The Planned Parenthood. You know, I was riding through the ghetto the other day and I saw a Planned Parenthood in the ghetto. And you ride through all these white neighborhoods, you never see that. You understand? Is it that white people don't want to abort their babies? No, that ain't it. Because you know white people have abortions too. But the reason they're in the ghetto is because they're trying to exterminate you. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get into scriptures. We're gonna see how that's similar to what the children in the Israelites went through while they was in Egypt. All right, so let's get some more. Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. You know what I mean? That scripture right there is basically saying Joseph did all these great things, you know what I mean, to save Egypt. Egypt became a world power behind his knowledge, you know what I mean, that the Lord passed down to him. Yeah, he was second in command, you know what I mean, and made Egypt a great nation. You know, some might say, you might get some comedic fools that say, yeah, Egypt was great already, but you know what I mean, if it wasn't for Joseph, Egypt would be trash. You understand? Egypt wouldn't have been what it is or what it was at that time. Verse 9, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they were fallen out any war, they joined also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of this land. Like, how similar to that is our condition here in America. Like I said, that's why I say the Bible is Black history. Like, you got to look at your situation today. It's the same thing going on. The white man gets these other nations and he deals wisely with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians because they know that we will populate. You know what I'm saying? You look at that. I did a little research online, and even today, the the white man ain't having as many kids as you blacks and Hispanics, you understand? Like, forget about Hispanics, you know what I mean? They shut it down, boy. You mess around, they have, you know what I'm saying, 10 kids in one house, even today. But like, we got to stop that as Israel. We got to stop saying that we can't raise it up, because we killing, you know what I'm saying? We are a nation, especially here in America, that slowly, our numbers are slowly dwindling down. We're becoming less and less of the population total, you know what I mean? It's like now I think we're down to like 12, 13% of the population. Just a few, you know what I'm saying, 5, 10 years ago, it might have been like 15% of the population. But you see America, they dealing wisely with us, and not just by putting Planned Parenthood businesses in our neighborhoods, but also, you know what I mean, with businesses. You look at, you know what I mean, all these other races, and like I said, the school bring it out all the time. All these other races of people got businesses in the ghetto. The craziest thing I saw, I was down in Mississippi visiting some family a while back. Like, ain't nothing but, when you think of Mississippi, you think of racist white people, and you think of, you know what I'm saying, black people that just kind of been there their whole life and don't really know nothing else. And, you know, that's their home, and that's, you know, that's where they want to be. They just deal with the racism. I went down in Mississippi. I'm talking about in the sticks, you understand? Deep down in the sticks. And what did I see? An East Indian man with a little shop right there smack in the woods, you know what I mean, with living off black people. Like, that's crazy to me. You gotta understand, you gotta visualize that and understand what I saw down in Mississippi. I'm not talking about a city where it's a ton of East Indians and they all group together and they got their own businesses, you know what I mean, and they support each other. No, this is an East Indian man in the middle of nowhere, down in the sticks of Mississippi, with a business supported by nothing but black people, maybe a few white people. That's crazy. Like, that's how did he get down there? How did he even have the balls to be like, I'm gonna go down here and, you know what I mean, start this business up? Like, the only way that you can have that kind of gumption is to have somebody backing you. You know what I mean? Like, he gotta have the white man somewhere down there back them. Here, yeah, go ahead. Here's a group of black people down here. You can live off them. You set up their business. Like, why ain't that a black business? Why don't black people own that little shop down there? Like, these nations have dealt wisely with us. Like, and it's all throughout cities, you know what I mean? Big cities, small cities, you know what I mean? Country, you know, out in the country, rural areas, whatever it is, you know what I mean? They deal wisely with us. These other nations sit on top of us and they make tons of money off us. You understand? Tons of money, like between nail shops, chicken joints, you know what I mean, donut shops, cell phone places. Like, they own all kind of businesses in the ghetto, and they live off us. It's the craziest thing I see. Like, I never paid attention to it until I came. Well, I ain't gonna say that, but before I came into the school, it didn't really hit home with me. But now, you know what I mean, after being in this truth, like, you look at things differently. You look at things differently and you see, like, that ain't right. Something ain't right about that. Something ain't right about a neighborhood full of black people, full of Hispanic people, but I got Arabs selling me chicken. I got East Indians, you know what I mean, got the business, whatever it is, you know what I mean. I got Koreans, you know what I mean, nail shops. Like, I know a ton of black women that went to school for nails. Why don't we have our own businesses? It's because, like, just like here that we see in Exodus, same thing going on in America, they have dealt wisely with us. That's how you know that we the children of the Bible. You understand? We the children, we the people from this Bible, because we look at this and we see how these nations have dealt wisely with us. They continue to do it. They've been doing it since the beginning. Let's keep going. Verse 11, therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Yo, in this scripture too, like, again, like I said, I read Exodus probably in the Christian church many times. You know what I mean? Read the scriptures throughout here, never did really, you know what I'm saying, never really did hit home. And I was reading it through the lens of somebody not related to the Bible. But you go back and you read this now, you know what I mean? You read this through the eyes of being an Israelite, you see that this is talking about you. This is talking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. I'm going to read that verse again. Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. Like, you got to understand that that's talking about you. Even, okay, yeah, that's a prophecy, you know what I mean? Because it happened to the Israelites in the past. You can see it. It definitely happened during slavery. It definitely happened during slavery. You know what I mean? Shalom, brother. Definitely happened during slavery, how taskmasters are set over top of us. And it's happening here today. You know what I mean? You look at your boss. Your boss will afflict you with your burdens. You understand? Like, that's a taskmaster. Your boss at work is a taskmaster. Some devil, you know what I mean? Somebody, more than likely, some devil, you know what I mean, with unrealistic expectations of what work should be. You know what I mean? If you're blessed to have a slave where you got, you know what I mean, where you don't have to slave for somebody, or, you know what I'm saying, maybe you don't work with a bunch of devils, or if you do, you know what I mean, it ain't real strenuous. That's good, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank the Lord for that. Because there's some brothers and sisters got to deal with the white man every day, you know what I mean? And it's hell every day. You know what I mean? You hate your job, you know what I mean? But you got to make a living. You know what I'm saying? We being oppressed in this nation for sure. So, you know what I mean? If you got a slave, you got to do what you got to do. You got to eat, man. But that's what was going on in Exodus. Like I said, like this, when you go back and you read Exodus through the lens of Israelite, and that the Bible is actually talking about you, you can see the similarities. It's what's going down here today in this country. Your boss here today, you know what I mean, taskmasters, you know what I mean, and they got you slaving, they got you humping, they got you doing every little thing to help build up their nation. You know what I mean? That's why it should be the goal, man. It should be your goal to get your own business. You know what I mean? Even if it's something small, if you can support your, you know what I'm saying, your family, whatever, make it your goal, you know what I mean, to be your own boss. You know what I mean? Like we still gonna be in captivity in this nation, but at least you ain't gotta go smile in some devil's face all day, you know what I mean, and have him smile in your face and talk all nice to you and really think the worst of you. Like I said, I seen some terrible things on Facebook today. Big up to the brothers again, man, battling all these Edomites online. It was hell this week for them. It was hell this week for them. A lot of battles going on Facebook. But you'll see, like I was saying earlier in this video, you see how the average white man feel about you blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They don't give a damn about you. They think your condition is a result of you being lazy and trifling, and you know what I mean, and I didn't see monkey so many times. It's like, wow, okay, I can't wait for the day that Christ come back and put these devils in chains. I'm gonna have me, oh man, that's gonna be a glorious day. That's why y'all got to get up in the school, man. Y'all got to get up in the school, you know what I mean, under Commander General YAHANNA. All these brothers is gonna raise you up. You know what I mean? We're gonna build this nation up. We gotta hurry up and get in. We gotta raise our people up, because as soon as we do that, man, the sooner Christ gonna come back and put these devils in chains, and that's what's needed. Because this white man has no conscience. He don't understand. Like, they can't fathom why black people are in the condition that they're in. They don't get it. They'll never get it. You get very few. You get I ain't gonna say all the white people. You get very few white people that really understand. You know what I mean? And they'll never truly understand how bad it is being in this captivity. But you get some, you know what I mean, some devils are remorseful. They come up and kiss the brothers' boots. And man, down in Texas, they getting boot kissed like every week. You know what I mean? But it's like, they don't understand. They don't understand how evil and wicked they've been. And all they do is want to gobble up more. That's all they want to do, is gobble up more. You understand? They never understand it. But let's keep going. Verse 12. Oh, Salakia, the second part of verse 11. Like, verse 11 is heavy too, because it say, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities. What do we do here? Who built up this country? You know what I mean? Like, the brothers in Chicago bring it out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Chicago was built by black people. You understand? Like all this whole nation, man. If it wasn't for, you know what I mean, the free labor that America got, like they wouldn't have been a great nation like they are today. Like America had a head start by getting free labor for years. You understand? For hundreds of years. And damn near they got free labor now with this minimum wage. That ain't enough for people to live on. Like anybody who trying to live off minimum wage, you already know it's impossible. It can't be done. You can't live off minimum wage. Like how wicked and evil is that? Captain Kaposh did a video a while back, did a class, and he talked about, he did some research and how if the white man wanted to be fair about, you know what I mean, what he should be paying you, minimum wage would be about, I think it was like $20. You know what I mean? And that was like a year or two ago. So that's like minimum wages probably should be around like $21, $22 an hour. Like you can't live off 7 something, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever the minimum wage is now. You can't live off that. Only way you can live off that is to work that job and have to work another job and maybe get some government assistance and, you know what I'm saying, have somebody else that's working the job live with you. You know what I mean? You struggling. Like a lot of black people, we done got so used to our condition here. Like we live in, most black people's living under the poverty line. Hispanic people too, you know what I'm saying? Native American Indians on those reservations, man, horrible conditions. We living below the poverty line. And let white people tell it, it's all the result of you being a lazy porch monkey, what I saw on Facebook this week. That's a damn lie. You know what I mean? It's, we done brought out, the school done brought out so much about the evil of this white man. Just go back and look at the Google, or go on YouTube and search CIA, the CIA investigation on how they put drugs in the communities of black people. Like that enough right there that's enough right there to destroy a generation, what they did right there. And that's proof. And white people look at that stuff and like they probably say something like, well, you didn't have to take the drugs. Like that's evil as hell. To, you know what I mean? And look, at the think about this, like black people selling drugs in the hood. How many black people, you know, got boats or planes to go and transport drugs? You understand? Like we ain't just going across the border, bringing in tons and tons of, you know what I mean, illegal drugs. Like we don't have the capabilities to do that. You know what I mean? Them drugs is getting in here some kind of way. Yeah, you might have a few, you know what I'm saying, small time drug dealers that maybe make some moves, but I'm talking about at the scale that America has drugs. Them drugs ain't coming in by all black people. Like we is not the connect. We is not the plug. You understand? We are not. That ain't us. That's the white man. The white man is the drug dealer. You understand? Back to this though. We didn't build treasure cities all across this country. Treasure cities, the same thing. Again, go back and read Exodus, man. You're gonna see the similarities between our captivity here now in this country and our captivity there. We built treasure cities for Pharaoh in the past, and we building treasure cities now. Black people, look, man, go into one of these major cities and let black people decide to strike all at once. Man, these cities would shut down. You understand? Like blacks and Hispanics, if we was to strike, man, you couldn't drive the bus or ride the bus. You couldn't work. You couldn't get no fast food in these restaurants. You couldn't get your city clean. You couldn't get nothing done. Like, and it's crazy. The craziest thing I've heard lately, well, not the craziest thing, but you know what I mean? You talk about how they want to get rid of the Hispanic brothers. Like I watched a documentary on how much they get paid to work in these agriculture fields and pick these fruits and vegetables. Man, it's ridiculous. It's horrible, man. It's despicable, and it's like the most inhumane stuff, you know what I mean, treatment of people, you know what I'm saying, in modern day times, you know what I'm saying, outside of murder. Like these brothers work for peanuts. Peanuts. They work for peanuts. It's crazy. It's below minimum wage is what they work for, and the work is hard as hell in the sun all day. Like, let them go ahead and deport them if they want to. Ain't nobody gonna have no fresh vegetables and fruits in this country because the white people ain't gonna get out there and pick them. It ain't gonna happen. Like this nation, they say they want all black people to get out of here. This nation can't run without black people. The white people in the leadership positions know that this place can't operate with blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. It can't, because we fuel this economy. Like I said, the brothers bring it out all the time. You know, not only from a consumer standpoint. You know what I mean? Not only from being, you know what I'm saying, the top consumers, but we fuel this economy from the standpoint of somebody has to be on the bottom. Somebody has to be on the bottom, and that's where the white man wants you. He really wants you on the bottom to not say anything, to do your slave. You know what I mean? He gonna give a few tokens, you know what I'm saying, a high position, couple high positions, so the rest of the nation can be happy. Man, I heard that argument the other day. Man, when I hear that, that makes me so upset. You have a conversation with somebody, and here comes some white person and be like, oh, you had a black president. Oh, you got all these rich black people. That ain't the bulk of our people, you understand? That's a few people, you know what I'm saying, that made it according to the white man standards, you know what I'm saying? But that ain't success for our people. That ain't going to change our condition as a people, you know what I mean? That's so disgusting to hear somebody say that. And, oh, you got a black president. When Barack Obama ain't even black, you understand? Like, according to the scriptures, you are what your father is. And his father is a Hamite. His father is an African, meaning he's an African. And so that makes his daughters African. You understand? Michelle Obama is the only, you know what I'm saying, black person in that household. That's crazy. I hate hearing that, man. That's evil. That's an evil thing to say. You know what I mean? Because one person made it, oh, we all good. That's all we needed. Check that box. Move on. That's what white people really want you. They really want you to do. They want you to say, okay, I got, you know what I'm saying, a couple Uncle Toms here on the news channels. I got, you know what I'm saying, a few black businesses, a handful, you know, some black athletes and entertainers. Check that box, move on. Let's keep going. Verse 12, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Like I brought out earlier, like, America would really be grieved if our numbers were where they should be. In other words, if we wasn't aborting, you know what I mean, 350,000 babies a year, you know what I mean, since the eugenic program started, our numbers would be, we wouldn't be 12, 13% of the population. We'd probably be closer to, and this is just talking about black people specifically. You know what I mean? We'd probably be closer to, you know, 20%, 25% of the population right now. You gotta figure, like, we've been in this country 400 years, like, our numbers should have been increasing more, right? Our numbers shouldn't be going down. And again, that's because your filthy, disgusting Christian pastor who don't want to tell you the truth of the Bible, you know what I mean, who wants you to come together with the white man, who wants you to be, you know what I mean, ground down, you know what I mean, and just, he really wants you to be a second-class citizen so he could be a first-class citizen. He is of his father, the devil, you understand? He's taking on the personification of the white man and don't give a damn about you, because if he cared about you, he'd tell you the truth. He'd tell you that you're supposed to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Let's keep going. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. And all the service when they made them serve with was with rigor. We seen that in slavery. We see that today. Same thing I brought out earlier. Like these jobs, you know what I mean, they don't actually pay you what you need to be paid. Like if jobs actually paid you what you need to be paid to live, like there'd be a lot less jobs out there. You know what I mean? You wouldn't need as many of all these little different things to do, because like they're not paying you fairly. That's why this economy could keep growing like it's growing. It's all kind of money in this kingdom. You understand? There's all kind of money in America, and that's because all the greed of the white man. You know what I mean? All the greed of the white man has allowed him to pay you less and start more businesses and hire more people and pay them less. And the piece of the pie for the black man, Hispanic man, Native American, Indian man is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And what they want you to do, they want you to come together with poor white people. Like, you need to come together with your brothers, you know what I mean? You need to come together with your brothers. We need to start our own. History has already proven we don't need the white man. We don't need him. We had cities. And one of the most famous cities was Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, you understand? One of the most famous cities we had where we came together with nothing but us, you know what I mean? And it was popping. It was popping from the standpoint of we had our own airstrips, all our own businesses, down to butchers, lawyers, doctors, you know what I mean, schools. Like, think about how glorious that would be to not really have to go anywhere. I was about to say go to work, but you work in the same neighborhood where you live. You live in a neighborhood full of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Y'all all work in the same area. Y'all all service each other. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I read a study before on the Chinese man. Like people in the Chinese community, take any Chinatown in a major city, the dollar passes around about 11 times, I think was the last figure that I got, about 11 times before it goes outside of that community. Meaning I make some money and I go spend my money with another Chinese man. And that happens 11 times before that $1, you trace that dollar, it's passed hands 11 times before it actually goes outside of his community. Meaning you're not really going to another nation for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, how glorious would that be to live and work in the same neighborhood, you know what I mean? And you support all your brothers and sisters and they support you, and y'all ain't got to worry about going to another nation to get nothing. Like, you need clothes, you go down to Miss Deborah, you know what I mean? You need to cook, you go over to Miss Ann. You need your car worked on, you go to Jack. You know what I'm saying? Except these would be Hebrew names. You know what I'm saying? You go, you know what I'm saying, to Tarak. You know what I'm saying? You want to take a trip. You know what I mean? You need some fresh fly new apparel. You go to Officer Baramat. You know what I'm saying? He make you a fly headpiece. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how we should be living. And that's how we were living. And what do white people do? They got jealous and they bombed it. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of oppression that's happening today, and it happened in Exodus. But let's get some more. It's getting even heavier than that. Verse 15, and the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shapar, and the name of the other Pua. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. And then it goes into how the midwives, they wouldn't do it because they feared the Lord, you know what I mean? But you look at how evil that was, you know what I mean, for the king to say, go ahead and kill those kids. That's the same thing that's happening here. So it ain't one man making that decree, you know what I mean? It's more or less, it's programs that's been put into place to tell you, you know what I mean? You go down and you see these people downtown at the court, or these people who's supposed to be social workers, like, they really not helping you. All they doing is destroying you. You go see your Christian pastor, all he doing is destroying you. You know what I mean? You go taking counsel from people who ain't in the I.S.U.P.K, you are being destroyed. You understand? Like, they wanted to kill the children of Israel then, and they want to kill the children of Israel now. Same thing. These Planned Parenthoods pop up in all these neighborhoods, all the ghettos, but you don't see them in no white neighborhoods. They only in the ghettos, and that's because, like I said, we read it earlier. Like, they said, "Come, let us come and deal with them wisely." You know what I mean? And that's what's happened to us in this nation. You know what I mean? You listen to the white man, and you didn't let him lead you astray. You didn't listen to your Christian pastor, and they didn't lead you astray. Yo, hold this. Let's get Psalms 55 and 21. Now, this scripture right here is talking about the white man. The words, it's like Psalms, verse 55, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn like swords. Like, you understand that scripture. You ain't even got to have that scripture right there, break down itself. You know what I mean? It's like what you hear is nothing but lip service. Even at work, you go to work and these white people smile in your face. That's nothing but lip service. So you'll continue to be a good slave. So you don't want to stand up. We see it all the time at camp. We see it all the time. You go to camp and these white people, they come up, they want to pray with you. They want to, you know what I mean? They want to say God loves you and I love you and I forgive you and all this stuff. You forgive me for what? For speaking out about the atrocities you've been doing against my people? Is that why you forgive me? Because I want a voice, because I got a voice about all the injustice? You don't need, I'm not asking for your forgiveness and I don't want your damn forgiveness. You understand? Like, I don't need your forgiveness. Like, if anything, you should be asking me to forgive you for all the atrocities for your people have done against my people. You understand? Like, white people don't want to hear it. Happens every week, week in and week out, same thing. That's why y'all got to wake up, man. If y'all not in these classes, y'all need to get in these classes. Y'all need to, like, Monday night, every Monday is Commander General Hunter's radio show. You understand? From 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Tuesday through Friday, we got online classes from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, like I said, you go on Facebook and or you go onto the website. It's a whole slew of brothers all around the country and around the world that's got classes at different times. You know what I mean? You get in these classes, man. You ask questions. You change your life. You understand? You get in here, man, and help build this nation. Help build this nation so the Lord can get us out this condition. You know what I mean? Because it ain't going to happen by following these your so-called black leaders. Steve Harvey ain't going to get us out this condition. All he going to do is sell us to the white man. He going to go coon and shuck and jive. You know what I mean? Stephen A. Smith or Jesse Jackson, Creflo Dollar, ain't nobody going to be able to get us out this condition other than the I.S.U.P.K. You understand? That's it. Point blank, period. The only way we're going to get out this condition is coming back and serving the Lord, getting in these classes. You know what I mean? We're going to show you how to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Like the Lord told us back in Deuteronomy, if you don't keep these, if you don't observe all these laws, statutes, and commandments, you're going to suffer all these curses. And you can see all these curses. You can see all the curses. Go back and read Deuteronomy chapter 28. Read the entire chapter. You know what I mean? You can see all the curses as they relate to the past and as they relate to today. And like I said, you go back and you read Exodus, you can see a lot of similarities between the same struggles. The scripture saying nothing new under the sun. We've been battling, man. We battle Israel. We're stiff-necked people. That's what the scriptures say. We're stiff-necked people. We keep trying to come together with nations that destroy us. And we're going to be on the bottom. You know what I mean? What we got to do is come together with our brothers. You know what I mean? We got to come together with our sisters and brotherhood and sisterhood. And we got to build this nation one brother and sister at a time. You understand? So I hope you got something out of that. Go back, like I said, go back and read Exodus, but don't read it through the lens of a Christian. You know what I mean? If you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you are an Israelite according to the Bible. You know what I mean? You make up the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? And this is your heritage and this is your history. You know what I mean? This was written by you for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to get into these scriptures. You go back and read Exodus, the first chapter, and you, like I said, and it's all throughout Exodus. You'll see a lot of different things that you'll pick up. You know what I mean? That happened in the past and that's happening today. But like I said, I ran across a man and wanted to bring it to class and break it down. And that's it. So with that, shalom.